Ladies and gentlepawns, with my Road the Title series, I have a mini series inside this playlist, and I call it the Classical Climb. The Classical Climb series is basically a new series documenting my road to Canada Master, but playing all of my games through the classical, I guess, category on Lichess. And it's not like a Road to 2000 series where I have to go from one to another, but basically I'm documenting all of my classical games and just showing you my thought process and what was going through my head through these long and, tedious games where it comes down to the wire. And yeah, I don't know how high I will get. I don't know how long the series will go. I guess until I get a title, right? So, yeah, this may be a lot of, information going out to the public for, like, for players that I go against in the future, but we'll see. Anyways, today was day one, and I played my very first game. And in fact, the funny thing is, I started playing at 2000 off the bat, so I'm like 1800, like 1855. But this is a provisional, so this has nothing to do with my chess.com. I'm not 1855. I trust me on that, but I'm making the slow climb to as high as I can get. 2400 would be cool. I don't know, 2200. We'll see. I don't know what the basis is. I did see like a Canada Master with like 1900 rapid. So we'll see. I guess the curve flattens out at as you get better, but my first opponent was Max Wu, and Max Wu started with e4, and I go into a Caro. We play this modern variation of the Caro, and basically he takes, and in most situations you take here and you transpose into Tartakower, but I've been getting into a really good feeling with not playing the Tartakower because I feel like it's a little bit boring. Um, and play something more spicy and basically tell my opponent that I'm not gonna castle at all. And I play a Bronstein Larsen. And this looks super unconventional. Like, why are you just doubling up your F pawns and then like you can't play E5 now because, well, I mean you could, but it would be very bad if you did. And I guess my opponent was a little thrown off and decides to play bishop to d3, which is like kind of in the Tartakower. But this loses because you can just take that pawn for free. And now I'm just up a pawn. But it's not over. It's just the start of the game. I was a little confused. I was like, why did he play that? And after move 7, like this is no longer in any database, Lichess or Masters. Like this is no one has ever played h3 ever. Like it's unheard of. But I get the point of h3. And the point of h3 is to restrict this light squared bishop and basically give it no room. Like no breathing room. Like you can't play this. Now before I actually took here, I thought of playing this right away. But that's just terrible. And I was like, no, that's just a free pawn. Okay, just take it, right? So I did that. Plays h3. Now I gotta improvise. I do like knight d7, which I was thinking of playing, which is the one of the best moves. But I was like, wait, why did he play that? I mean, I guess I could just strike with e5, right? But I guess the computer says differently. It wants me to play for like this, and bring out the pawns, but I didn't want to weaken this f pawn here. Like, okay, maybe I've restricted the first starting f pawn, but I was like, just play out and then play bishop to d6. This seems like a simple plan, right? Well, I played this, and it's technically a mistake because, okay, white's winning. Well, has advantage after knight e2, like knight e2 here. But I was like, okay, if he plays knight e2, I just walk back, and then I play bishop to e6, right? Plays there, play back, and then he plays this, and I'm like, okay, cool. Just keep to my same idea. Like, I don't need to, rush out my bishop and try and check and then walk back. Like, just keep this simple, development. I played this move so that I could play this. But and I don't want to put my bishop on d6 with all these pawns behind because that would just be foolish. I want, to somewhat control the center in a little bit of a divergent way. But instead of going f5 what the computer wants, I played this first, and I guess the computer says, oh yeah, play f5, then f6, and then bishop here, and get like a more dark squared center. But I was like, does it really make a difference? Like, it's not like I'm losing off the bat. But okay, it's back in white's hands. And the move for white is to actually play g3 and control this square. Like, that's literally the entire idea. And playing g3 also restricts you from playing rook to g8, which is the entire idea of opening up this file, this g file, is to actually play rook g8. But I'm scared of playing rook g8. In fact, if I played rook g8, this bishop takes pawn. So I was like, no. And then I also didn't want to go here because he can just play rook to g1. And then this entire file is open, and my king is, gonna have to try and do a walk or a dance of some sort. So he plays f4, and I was like, oh, okay, I get the idea. You want to go here, or you want to go here. And I thought, oh wow, this is a very good move. But I was like, wait, what about like, can I just play like bishop a6? And I was like, wait, that just pins the piece. Okay, I mean, that's a simple idea. I thought this was the best move. I was like, actually, this is super nice. And let's say he goes here, then I just take, And even if he brought his queen, he played this, takes, like, sorry, here, and he played queen here. Then if he goes here to try and, cause him counterplay, well, not counterplay, but double attack, takes, and then bishop to d5. And I was like, oh, this is nice. And this is a nice square. Now, I did thought, okay, what about c4? But that wasn't in my line of sight right away. So I continued with bishop d6, or bishop h6, which isn't the best move because I guess you can already play knight to d7 and just continue with development. But I thought, okay, maybe developing the bishop this way would be nice. So I played this. I'm not completely losing, but, the advantage is not in my court anymore. He plays queen here, and then I play knight d7. I was like, okay, I'm completely fine. If this, same idea. Long castles, which is the best move. Then I played queen to e7. And the reason why I played queen to e7 is to set up this nice trap. Like, let's say he just goes here, tries to attack my weak bishop. I thought, oh, I can just get this pawn for free. And you can't go here because that's mate. So that was my entire idea of bishop e7, which is, okay, the most logical idea. But he kind of catches on and he's like, oh, I see your idea. And I'm going to play queen to c3. And I guess queen to c3 is not the best move. Because, okay, knight d to b6, which was in my ball court of what I was thinking. And now he plays this to stop me from taking here. Because if I take, he can go here, and then let's say I go check, then there's queen to b2. Sorry, not there. Queen to b2, and I would have to take takes, and the king is here, and he's gonna take my bishop. So I was like, okay, that's not gonna work. We need to change things up. And so I was like, okay, why not put my bishop on a nice square? Bishop to d5. And now I'm no longer in the court because rook h to e1, getting this file and utilizing this file where my king and queen are on, open file. Well, it's not open, but it's going to open up if he takes. And I'm in a little bit of trouble, and I need to figure out what to do. But he doesn't do that. And bro just plays this because he's like, oh, shoot, my pawn. I need to defend my pawn and then play this. And I was like, dude, I'm not scared of this. Like, what's... It was too slow, and I was like, okay, now I can just play knight to b6. But once again, this is a hilarious move because this is not winning. This was a best move like a move ago, but now it's no longer the best move because now it's like, oh, improvise, take here, and now expose. And I thought about that, but I was like, no, but after this, he could just take. And then after I take here, then he's got knight here. But then I realized, oh, wait a minute. I have queen check. But then I was like, wait, that doesn't work either. Like here, let me pull this out for you. Let's say after, takes, I was like, this is silly. Like bishop takes, here takes, there's this, and I was like, oh, I can check, and this is all good. But there's queen d2, and I was like, this doesn't work. He just simultaneously defends the piece, and now I'm no longer better. Now I just trade, and I was like, okay, this bishop is not in a good position. It's got to go back because of this. I'm in terrible position, and I was like, yeah, I didn't see this. I was like, this is not working. So I played knight to b6. He plays this, and I'm like, wait, what? Why would you just open this up? Like, and I was like, wait, I'm fine for a queen trade. Because after this queen trade, I think I'm in the better position because your bishops are kind of, this bishop is kind of isolated. Doesn't got too much room. Okay, this light square bishop is an absolute monster, but it's fine. So I was like, okay, I'll give a check. The move here is king b1, just sidestepping, but he plays the queen here. I was like, wait, okay, just take the queen. Now I'm better. And I was like, okay, what should I do next? Now, I like to do long castles or bishop e6, which I also thought was a cool idea, or e4, which actually technically wins the bishop because if you go here, takes, and you're up a pawn, and now this bishop is in trouble. But I didn't see that, and I played rook d8. Like, what am I doing? I thought, okay, rook d8, I can go king e7, but then I thought, oh no, that's a terrible move. If I go king e7, there's bishop c5 check. I was like, okay, I've already made this move. I'm no longer castling on either side. But I'm fine, right? He plays bishop here. I'm like, okay, well, now I can no longer play king e7. If I play king e7, this loses to this. Yeah, and I was like, oh shoot, now I gotta go back, and that's kind of a waste of a move. So king e7, no longer on the playing field. Then I go bishop here. We get takes, massive exchange, and I play f5. I did not want to take this pawn, and the reason why I did not want to take this pawn is it allows double pawns, but you have to think about his position. This is an isolated pawn. These are connected pawns. Okay. If you think, oh, these aren't connected because this pawn is weak. Yeah, it's weak, but it's a pawn cluster. They're all together. They're not doing anything. They're just going to sit there and just avoid these pawns from promoting. And this is my weak pawn here. It's 2 against 1. So I also need to operate and make sure that this pawn can't go here. So f5. And I was like, okay, this is fine, right? He goes knight to d1. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. You want to play this, but what about bishop e3? And I was like, okay. Now I'm asking questions. Now I'm threatening check here. He goes here. I go king e7. And then he plays this. And I'm like, wait. You lose the pawn. Dude, like, what? And I was like, wait, I'm winning. And so I play, bishop f4. You cannot defend this pawn. This pawn is undefendable. You lost all the squares of where you can, even if you played like something like g3, I take. But he plays g4. And I'm like, what? I'm still fine. Like, take. And now the move is to go rook to g8 and basically target this. But here's the thing. I didn't like this because I was like, rook g8? Are you insane? Like, he takes and then I take and then he's going to pin me. And I was like, if I go and I get out of the way, now I don't have this pawn chain. And now my attack is not as strong. But the funny thing is if I have access, the king has to walk back. If he walks forward, there's check. And then he has to walk forward again, and there's mate. Sorry, that was a lot of messy errors. Let me try that again. This bishop actually conquers these dark squares. And if I get this rook on here, it's killer. This rook's sitting there forever, and the king's got to go back because if it goes forward, it gets mated. And this is the great thing about this pawn cluster. But I didn't think about that, and I was like, what? Just, okay, take. Like, I'm fine. And now the move is still to get on one of these open files because this knight is terribly placed. And white has to go back, can't go forward still. But I didn't think about that. And I just like, okay, me attack the pawn, which I need to kind of get out of like that idea of thought and instead like attack the king more. Be like, okay, go attack the king and don't think about position sometimes. But I was like, okay, be positional, and attack the pawn. He can't attack here. I'm fine. He can't like protect here. Then he plays rook to h3. And you want to know something? I was completely blindsided by the fact that, oh, if I take, he takes, and then if I move my king, he just takes my pawn. But stupid me forgot that my rook can go back. And I didn't realize that till later. So I played rook g7, defending the pawn, which is logical, but then he jumps his knight back, and now his knight's back into the game. Now this is no longer better for me. I had a full advantage, but didn't take advantage of it. Bishop f6, best move. He plays a4. I take, he takes, and now the move is like here. Like, but this looks so counterintuitive because I was like, what? Why would I want to go here? I looked at Stockfish. I was like, this is stupid. What are you thinking, Stockfish? Now these pawns are weak. But there's rook g2, and then you still can't go here because you just play rook c3, or not rook c3. Bishop takes c3, and these files are, like, the king's got no escape. Like, you can go here. Like, let's say go here, you go here. And the move is rook d2. And the knight's kind of got no spaces. Like, it goes here, and, like, it goes here, and it's in trouble. Like, if it goes here, it's in more trouble because, a fork. But if it goes here, you still play this. It goes back, right? You go here. He has to play this, and then there's this. And you just completely domination. But guess what? I didn't think about that. And I play rook back like a goofy goober. And now this is just drawable. Like, yes, I have this pawn. But this pawn is kind of not, it's not like a pass pawn. Yes, it is a pass pawn, but it isn't. This knight controls the file. Like, up and down. Controls the end zone and controls the start zone. Like, there's nothing I can do. I go king here. I go king here. Centralize my king. He gives me a check, I walk back. He gives me another check, I walk back. And then I was like, there's no movement. Like, there's no movement at all. And I asked for a draw. And he dropped. Like, yes, I did get, 20 points of ELO? Because technically my rating is still provisional. But I realized multiple times this game I had advantages. Or I missed so many ideas and just did not find anything, really. I believe if I look at the analysis, like the full, like, oh, what year's your accuracy? It said like Lichess is a lot higher. I have no clue. Like, I guess it's not as strong. Like, it says it's Stockfish 17, but I guess chess.com is a little bit more stronger. But if we go look at the accuracy, it was 79 to 80. So, yeah, I just had lots of little bumps and did have an advantage where I did kept it for a while, but just gave it away. And so, really nothing I could do. But it was a good learning experience. And I feel like this is day one. We all start somewhere. But I feel like as we continue to progress, we will get better. And just so you know, all these games that I'm doing on this series are using a real chessboard. In fact, I'll show you what chessboard I have. This felt chessboard with some pieces in this bag. So, yeah. That's it for you guys. Thank you for watching, and stick around for day 2. Peace.